have this vivid memory of sitting in the bathtub one time and just crying.
I think I punched my dad once.
You're not in charge of me right now. Like, you just won't leave me alone.
I had an epidural in my back, so I couldn't move very well.
She just wanted me to keep pushing and keep going.
Everybody had one. Like, if you didn't have one, you were looked down upon.
This is a show where teenagers share their experiences growing up in today's world. I'm your host, Dr. RJ, and this is A Teen's Perspective.
Hello and welcome to A Teen's Perspective. I'm your host, Dr. RJ, and today I have a great guest for you. Before I introduce this guest, we need to come up with a name for you because my guest is a minor and I do want to hide his identity. So if you had to be a superhero, what name would you want?
Can it be an existing superhero name?
Absolutely.
I want to be Superman.
All right, I like it. So let's welcome Superman to the show. All right, so first, go ahead and share with us how old you are, which grade you're going to, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I am 13, going into 8th grade, and I like sports and I like music.
Awesome. Share with us a little bit about your background. Tell us about your family dynamic and how did you get to where you are today?
My family is kind of dysfunctional. Looking at us first, like you wouldn't notice that like kind of related because both my parents are white and I'm a black individual and it's kind of weird. And like I always like to say that each one of us has something wrong with us just because nobody's perfect, you know? And how did I get to where I am today? Mostly because of my parents just trying to keep me motivated and setting me to achieve my goals and like saving money and stuff.
Awesome. So you mentioned that your parents are white and you're a black male. So share with me the dynamic of growing up in that situation.
Well, I always have to explain how I'm adopted, and people just can't wrap their minds around how somebody can have two white parents when you're black. I used to think it was annoying, and then I realized that people don't really have that perspective of growing up with two white parents and just growing up in that environment. I've seen a lot of black stereotypes on TikTok and stuff, things like physical and like accents, like people cuss around their parents a lot. I don't really do that because their parenting was just normal. They did a really good job just parenting me, and they had a very strong opinion that I should know that I'm adopted and they shouldn't try to hide it from me. And I'm very grateful for that because I would probably be really mad at them if they just told me I'm adopted.
So can you share with us that conversation, the first time they told you that you were adopted?
I actually don't know. They literally told it to me as long as I can remember, even before I could comprehend it. They had a very strong feeling that I should know. I should know that I'm adopted whenever, like my memory, I should always be knowing that I'm adopted. They're not ashamed of it, and I'm proud of them for that.
Share with us any conversation you guys had about your birth parents.
We don't know my birth dad. They had lunch with my birth mom one time. This is a reoccurring story. They tell me a lot. And it's basically they just had dinner and follows my birth mom's Facebook profile. We're going to wait till I'm a little older and then I may try to meet her. But as of right now, we're not going to take that risk, like to try to track down my birth dad and stuff. So we have had that conversation many times before about how my birth mom's a nice person and she just loved me and she knew she couldn't take care of me at that right moment because the situation was not that good. So she put me in the adoption center and I got adopted. I'm really lucky to be adopted by the parents I have right now.
So did your parents tell you why they decided to adopt and, why did they choose to adopt a black male? Did they share any of that information with you?
They wanted a black son. They also said that having white babies were expensive was just not relevant at all. That's not the reason they chose to have a black son to adopt, which I think is weird because, like, why would white people cost more to adopt? That's just, can't wrap my mind around that. The other reason is because they tried like everything to have a biological kid and they couldn't. So that's when they decided, well, I don't think it's going to happen, so let's adopt. They went looking for kids to adopt, and they got a call really early in the morning, and they said, hey, there's this baby boy in the adoption center and no one's adopted him yet, and we were wondering if you'd be interested. And my mom always said that like God chose me, if that makes sense. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And you have a brother.
Yes, he is Black and Hispanic, half Black, half Hispanic. And he was also adopted in Texas. I was adopted in Houston. He was adopted in, I can't remember, some small town.
And how long ago was he adopted after you?
2 years, almost. We have almost the same birthday. Really close.
You know, just growing up, I know middle school is generally one of the toughest transitions for teenagers, or tweens in that case. So share with me any of the struggles or experiences that you had in middle school.
It was really hard to just try to stay positive. I've had the urge, just because my friends were making fun of this kid, to try to make fun of this kid. And I realized that's not me. I don't really make fun of people. And that I never really had a problem with fitting in. I fit in and I stand out because I have a really, really goofy personality usually. And I love to make people laugh. And that got me pretty far in middle school.
That's awesome.
A struggle, grades. When I had motivation problems, I didn't do my homework and I just didn't feel a need to do my homework, and my grades started dropping and dropping. I had the knowledge to do it. I just didn't apply myself, is what my teacher said.
You know, parents want to know that answer. So maybe you can give it to them. They want to know, why is it that it's so difficult getting their teenagers to turn in their homework?
Oh, well, see, homework is a thin sheet of paper. Usually it's physical. I like it when it's electronic because you can't lose it and you can't make the excuse that your dog ate it. Unless you have the excuse your dog ate your computer, which is not believable. But I'm a mess. I'm a slob and I lose stuff in my backpack. It's not that I mean to not turn in my homework. It's more like it just gets lost in the abyss of my backpack. That's why I like online that much.
So you actually did your homework. You just didn't get a chance to turn it in because you couldn't find it.
Well, sometimes I did it.
So tell us about the other times you didn't. Parents want to know that. Why do you not do your homework?
I'm lazy.
Lazy? Oh, man.
I mean, I'm being honest. I used to be really lazy, but I do my homework now. I'm getting on track because I realized that my grades started dropping. I'm like, that's not good. I really need to get more practice in before high school when the grades really start to count.
Got it. So that was your transition where you at first didn't really care. You're being lazy. And then it's that, oh my gosh, my grades count, so I need to get serious.
Yeah, like I realized that I really need practice for when my grades start to count in 9th grade. And that just pushed me to do my homework. It wasn't even that much homework. I mean, I got like maybe one easy sheet of paper math homework a day and then like a couple assignments here and there, write a paper here and there. It wasn't that hard. And they gave you a lot of time. I don't know why I didn't do it now that I think about it. I don't know why I don't do my homework.
That's why parents like lose it. I mean, they want to pull their hair out because they're like, hey, you just said it. It's easy. You have plenty of time. It's one piece of paper. Like, why won't you just do it? So how did your mom respond to that?
I didn't get my phone while doing homework. I had to finish all my homework before I got my phone back when I got home from school.
And did you find that was a fair way of handling it?
Not at first, no. That was just because I wanted to text my friends instead of doing homework, though.
So what helped you to like realize that what she was doing was fair?
Not everything I agree with that she does, I agree is fair, but she's a parent. But I realized that without my phone, I'm way more focused, which is obvious. I mean, I have ADHD, like pretty bad ADHD, and it makes it really hard to focus on stuff. But I've been on medication for as long as I can remember. But I usually blame it on that. Like, I can't focus because my meds are not enough, and just kept bumping it up and up and up. And then I realized this isn't going to work because I've reached the max of medication that I can take. So then I realized, oh, shoot, I was going to need another tactic. And then I realized, like, wait, why do I need another tactic? I can just do my homework.
Hello, this is Dr. RJ. I hope you are enjoying the show. I just want to encourage you to hang around after the interview. I will be coaching my guest on whichever topic they choose. Life coaching has been proven to increase success and happiness in teenagers. So if you're interested in having a life coach for your teenager, register at www.lifescholarsacademy.com. You know, you're in the middle of something that is just crazy. The fact that school was shut down because of COVID-19. We still have protests going on now with Black Lives Matter. So I'm curious to know both perspectives. You know, the fact that you have white parents, how are you feeling about the protest and Black Lives Matter? And I want to know about COVID.
We all 100% agree. 100%. Black lives do really, really matter. And they've done a lot of research about Black people. They didn't want to be uneducated. They really put a lot of work into it. Like you see countless books after books on how to take care of your kid with ADHD, how to take care of your Black kid, how to take care of your Black kid's hair. Like there's like so much. And I appreciate all the work they're doing to keep up and parent me. And they have an interesting perspective. They're not extremists. They don't hate all police and they hate the way people are protesting. But sometimes that's what you got to do to get people's attention. It's not the right way, but sometimes it feels like the only way, you know?
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I'm curious to know about COVID. I mean, this is also a tough time for you because you have experienced social distancing and now you can't go back to school. You have to do online school and your future is uncertain. We don't know how long it's going to last. So how are you managing during this time?
My parents are really, really strict about it. I've only had one person, my best friend, at my house during the entire summer. I'm still on quarantine. We still don't really go to stores. We still don't go to restaurants. We order takeout. We've been just really careful because none of us want to get COVID because losing a family member, I don't know if I'd be able to handle it. So I 100% agree with what they're doing. Sometimes I get angry about how I can't go see a lot of my friends like I used to. Like I usually go swimming with my friends, have sleepovers. I can't do that and I get angry, but I understand why they made the choice that they did. And I have all the materials like and stuff I need for online school. And that also sucks a lot.
So I'm curious to know, like, what are your plans for this year? Share with me your mindset going into this year.
Comfier chairs. I get comfier chairs to sit at school. My mindset is I get to work in a familiar environment and that should probably help me get through this. I don't want to think of it as a burden. I want to think like we're going to school as normal, but like people do online school, like actually like online colleges, like they know how to do it. So I'm like, it's not the first time that people have done online school. So it can't be that hard, you know?
Yeah. And you know what? You have such a great perspective because, you know, you could spend your time focusing on what you don't have. Like, I want to go to school. I can't. My friends, I'm stuck here. Or like you did, it was awesome. You're like, hey, I get comfortable chairs. I love that.
Yeah, I have a really awesome desk chair.
Yeah, you focus on the positive, focus on the things that you do get, makes you much happier.
I got a couch. I have unlimited pencils. Usually it's like a mini pencil pouch.
And you can get as many snacks as you want throughout the day.
Yeah, I have a speaker I can play music on while I do my homework. My room is just way more comfier. I mean, yeah, I don't get to see my friends, but I video chat with them all the time. You know, I meet with them outside. I can meet with people outside with masks, but not inside.
As I mentioned, this podcast is centered around parents. So can you share some insight about the teenage mind that you feel will help parents understand teenagers?
I don't want to sound like spoiled or like privileged, but like my phone, that's like my mom's go-to punishment. Just you lose your phone for a week and it sucks. Because I can't talk to my friends at all, especially during this time. And sometimes teenagers don't want to share how they're actually feeling. That doesn't mean you should push for them to share it. If they don't want to share it, they're not going to share it. So that's one thing I've had, like some of my friends just deal with, like parents pushing and thinking their kids are depressed or something. They're not. They just have a lot of emotions that they don't feel comfortable telling you. And that's not always a bad thing. That's what you have friends for. So like not everything that happens in your life you need to tell your parents.
So did anything come up for us to do a quick coaching session?
Well, so there's this girl I like, right? And she asked me if I like her. And I said, no, we're friends. And I didn't know I liked her then, but I just can't figure out a right time to tell her I like her without it being awkward.
So it sounds like you want to tell a person that you already turned down that you actually do like them, in fact.
Yes. I also don't know if she still has feelings for me. It's been a while.
And how long is a while?
Like 2-3 months.
Oh, so it's been 2 months?
Is that a while?
I think time is relative. So it sounds like 2 or 3 months ago, a girl was like, hey, I am interested in you. And you're like, hey, I'm not interested in you. We're just friends. And then 3 months down the road, you're like, wait a minute, I actually like her. And you don't know how to tell her.
Yeah.
What have you tried so far?
I've tried being subtle, like not joking around about like crushes. Like I do that a lot, joking around like about stuff that usually they wouldn't mind. But now I feel like they probably still don't mind, but it matters to me now,
Yeah, that makes sense. So it sounds like you don't joke around as much about it.
Yeah.
How do you think you could find out if she still likes you?
I could probably just try through a friend, but that would be all or nothing.
Explain that. What do you mean by all or nothing?
Usually when a friend asks you, do you like this guy? You pretty much automatically know that like they asked you to ask her that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So what's another way? What's another way that you can find out? What is the easiest way to find out?
Ask.
Have you tried that?
I have not tried that.
And what's holding you back from trying that?
Fear of rejection.
Oh, see, that's good. As you know that about yourself. Most people do not know when fear is controlling their decisions. So you're right. It's a natural thing to be worried about.
And mostly because like we're really, really good friends. Like she's one of my best friends. And if that goes wrong, I could never be friends with her again. I could continue my friendship or I could just completely destroy it.
So it makes sense that you would be fearful if you think that if you ask, it can completely ruin the friendship. So my question to you is, what evidence do you have to support that belief?
Shoot, none. She's a really nice person.
Right. That's how fear works. Fear always paints this ugly picture of the future that almost never happens. We always focus on the worst case scenario, and then it holds us, it keeps us from taking action, right? But if there's no evidence for the fear, the same way you can guess that the future would be terrible, what would it look like if everything went well?
We'd be dating, but like that would be online, which would be weird. 1, 2, we continue our friendship and talk about weird things, play truth or dare. And 3, her best friend wouldn't be mad at me anymore.
You say her best friend would be mad?
He confronted me one time going, I know you like her. Why don't you ask her? I'm like, well, no, I don't. What are you talking about? You're crazy. I'm pretty sure she knows I'm lying.
So you think that your friend, the one you like, you think she knows you like her?
I think.
Got it. So that means if she knows you like her, then the worst case scenario that you were fearful of is not really likely, right? Because she already knows you like her. So by you telling her is not going to make her just magically stop talking to you forever.
Yeah. Even if it went bad, I guess you forget about it or bring it up every once in a while.
Yeah. So I'm curious to know, why do you want to have a relationship now?
Good question. I don't have an answer for that, really. I guess I really don't need to. I don't need to.
I know it's my job. As life coaches, we always ask hard questions.
I feel like, I don't want to say the cliche everyone else has one, like a relationship. I feel like that's not the reason, but that's part of it.
Anytime you do something, this goes beyond dating. This is whether you have a goal for sports, a goal for your trombone playing, whatever goal you have, it's extremely important to know why. It's extremely important. And the reason why it's important to know why is because your why is what's going to motivate you to accomplish that goal. And also knowing your why, you will start to make decisions, because you're right. It's oftentimes we do things because everyone else is doing it, although that's not what we need at this time. So a why will be able to explain that to you. You know, if you're saying, hey, I honestly only want to have a girlfriend because everyone else has one, even though technically deep down you really don't care for having one right now, then that could not be as enjoyable as you pursuing dating when you're ultimately wanting it and you're ready for it and you're excited about it.
Never thought of it that way. I mean, like, I had one relationship in middle school that lasted 2 weeks and it was really bad. It was really, really bad. And I don't even know why I said yes. But now that I see it from your perspective, it would be really weird, you know, in 8th grade.
And remember, like me as your coach, I'm not ever going to tell you what to do or what you shouldn't do. My job is just to pose the questions. Because if you told me, you know, I'm 8th grade and my mom is okay with me dating and I truly like her and I want to date her because I think that is going to help us to grow closer, then I think that's a great decision. But if you're like, oh, well, the only reason why I want to date her is because I'm seeing everybody dating and I don't want to feel left out, then I don't know if that's the best decision to pursue.
Yeah, I see you. Now I'm rethinking it.
And the good news is, you know, you had 2 months go by, another month, another 2 months, another 3 months. It won't really make much of a difference. So if it takes you that long to think through it, then take as much time as you need because you want to make a good decision when you decide to start dating. And obviously, you know, you need your parents' blessing as well. Because as you mentioned earlier, they're still your parents.
I feel like they like her more than me. I can blast explicit music with her. Like, usually, like, she yells at me for, like, putting that on my speakers. But, like, when she's around, everything's different.
That's awesome. All right, well, perfect. So it sounds like you have a lot to think about.
Yes.
So no need to rush, but just really give it some thought. Understand your why. When you know your why, then you can make a better decision.
Yeah.
All right, Superman. It was so good talking with you. Thank you again for joining us. And thank you for sharing your knowledge to help parents understand teenagers.
Thank you, Dr. RJ, for giving me a chance to be on this podcast.
I hope you enjoy listening to the group coaching session. And I also hope that you are able to learn something that would help strengthen the relationship between you and your teenager. Until next time, this is A Teen's Perspective, helping parents see the future. Today's episode is brought to you by the Life Scholars Academy, where teenagers reach their full potential. At the Life Scholars Academy, teenagers and young adults experience life coaching and personal development as they pursue their goals. If you are ready for your teenager to experience higher levels of success and happiness, then join the Life Scholars Academy. You may sign up at www.lifescholarsacademy.com.